miss my old friend.
Hello everyone, Pelitip here. Welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. Hope you guys are having a great day today. In today's video, I'm going to be playing some Ghoulish Daniel, a mage. Don't play too many of those these days, but I can't appreciate just how good this character is. When the meta today is 2 warriors, a support, probably another melee character, all rushing towards your team as fast as humanly possible to contest these objectives. Essentially, one ball of tanky heroes versus another ball and colliding in the middle to see who wins. Gul'dan does amazing in those scenarios because of his corruption ability. Now, I am not extremely good with this character by any means, just started picking him up recently, but I can already see just how much damage he can put out in these situations. Now, of course, we're queuing into quick match here. We could get Dragonshire and spend 32 minutes walking in circles with our team, like I just did in my practice game. Or maybe I'll actually be able to show off the principles. But regardless, I'll talk about them, and hopefully you leave a little enlightened, at least. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves on the Garden Terror map today. The friendly team Zeratul, Gul'dan, Tracer, Malfury, and the enemy team Karazim, Valera, Illidan, Zul'jin, and Tassadar. Hi. We are going to go for Echoed Corruption at level 1. Once we hit 40 members with Corruption, after the 3rd strike, the Corruption will turn back towards us and deal more damage to an enemy team. The Corruption comes in 3 circles. They kind of spawn one after the other in that straight line, and it can be very tricky to land this ability consistently. Now, Gul'dan obviously benefits from the same things as Zarya did in our last video, where if there's a Samuro on the enemy team and you can hit all of his clones consistently, you're going to get a very, very big spike in your overall damage output. But, I mean, also just in general, it's pretty good. Like, you can stack it up pretty quickly, especially if the enemy team has, 4 members of their team in middle lane for no reason. Losing out on XP, allowing you to just get uncontested stacks. Now, a better Gul'dan player would have landed a lot more than me there. I think I was putting my my reticle a little too far away from the enemy team. But, we'll see what we can do. When Valera runs away, maybe we can make something. Well, she's not running. Well, there went that plan. My bad. So, the idea, you want to stack this up as fast as humanly... Why did you go forward? You want to stack this up as fast as humanly possible. You want to be in the lane with the most heroes in it, which on this particular map just happens to be middle lane. But I'm going to be rotating constantly because I need these corruption stacks to be effective in team fights, especially by level 13. Now, one trick you can do is just by putting the crosshair, like putting someone on both ends of the first circle and the beginning of the second circle, you can just rack up that damage really, really fast and get 2 stacks for basically 1 application without the character even moving, which is what I just did there on that Tassadar. It's not really a trick, but it's good to know. It's good to know that you can do that. Let's just go ahead and clear this wave. Now, even if Gul'dan doesn't stack extremely well, he still has pretty phenomenal lane clear, and with this build, pretty phenomenal sustain in lane as well. I would argue that he's one of the best laners that the game has right now. Looks like we were contesting top for some reason. We are going to see... Oh, everyone on the enemy team right here. So yeah, I'm backing up, team. We're backing up, team. I got a few corruption stacks in there, though. That's pretty good. Let's just get bot. We're already 2 levels down. That's not good. 2 levels down and 5 deaths down. Oh, no. Oh, no. I just realized that our team has 2 stealthies on it and a really squishy ADC. So we have no front line for this Illidan. He's just going to run wild, man. It's going to be a disaster. Let's try to place the... Oh, he's running this way? Oh, you did it. So that time the corruption was a little bit too far ahead of him, even though I was leading in his path. So I missed out on a lot of damage. There is a very fine line. It is not an easy ability to get used to if you are just picking up the character. We are going to go for Health Funnel at level 4. Oh, shit. This is what gives Gul'dan a ton of his lane presence, and I would argue a lot that it's a pretty phenomenal ability for him to have. Even in the middle of a team fight, you can still usually find an opportunity to just get a ton of healing off of a minion wave or something. We do see roots going down on the enemy team Zul'jin. He is going to be taken down. And now the enemy team moving in. They are going to steal a few of our seeds, but not an alarming amount. Nothing we can't come back from. Actually, I think we got most of them. No, they stole a lot because they already have a plant hitting our tier 2. Holy shit. Now, another good thing about Gul'dan, kind of in the same ways you would pick a Tychus, he does amazing damage to player-controlled things like this because, of course, you stack up the corruption. So we're able to get a ton of stacks pretty easily just by going in after the plant. And, of course, the plant is a pretty significantly larger target than most enemy team hitboxes, or enemy player hitboxes, which means fairly easy to land. I think we hit all 3 there. So at the 4-minute mark, we're at 16 stacks, which is not terrible. The enemy team obviously in a dominant position, and they know that. Tracer is going to be able to get out of there. That's good. They're pushing in pretty hard here. We're going to go ahead and drain life on the Tazdingo, and then corruption these guys, as I thought they would be turning to run away, but no, they are actually just going deeper here. They are stacking up quite nicely for our theory to see if it has any merit, though. Of course, they have a lot more burst damage than most teams do right now. Most teams running double warrior means that they just have a lot of beef at the front of the line, and you could deal a lot of damage to them without too many repercussions. But of course, if we step out here, we're going to be stunned by Valeera, we're going to be jumped on by Illidan, and it won't be pretty. It won't be pretty at all. Of course, Tassadar at level 10, soak XP, boys. Of course, Tassadar at level 10, probably going to go for Archon now, because that's the new thing that Tassadars do. And that's going to be a ton of damage to contend with as well. But notice how I am able to keep my health and mana completely full in lane in the right circumstances. This comes from... Did he die to... He died to the... Okay, they ganked him. I thought he straight up just died to a fucking merc camp. So let's... We need soak. So bad. Like... That mercenary camp, even if we got it, what the fuck good does that do us? It's going to push middle lane a little bit. In the meantime, we missed probably 3 lanes of XP down bot. This is not good. The enemy team is going to hit level 10 pretty soon, and hopefully we don't have a Hunt Illidan on our hands, because I have a feeling Hunt Illidan and Valeera would be a pain in the fucking ass to deal with. But, you know, we'll see.
Hello, darkness, my friend.
Stop fighting them. Just soak. Seriously. They are dead. No, they left top lane. Why? Okay. Well, we'll try to do the right thing. Maybe we can actually clear 2 lanes for the team. I don't really know. He might hunt me here. That's definitely a possibility. We can hit him with corruption as he leaves. He was slowed down by the fort, so that allowed me to get an extra stack in there. And now I can drain life off of these little minions. Get that regen globe. Stay pretty healthy. Okay. All right. We're doing fine. We're doing fine, team. We're doing fine. Looks like my drain life does get messed up here just a little bit, but that's okay. Actually, I got it. All right. This is pretty good then. So essentially all you have to do is queue into a lane of normal minions, and then as they are dying, you go ahead and life tap and then drain life, and you can essentially keep your mana up no problem. Looks like the enemy team's still managing to find opportunities to kill off my team. We should be so careful here. The enemy team's Karazim actually going for Divine Palm, so he really wants to keep his Illidan alive. We are 12 stacks away from being capped. Our stacking has slowed down a little bit as I've been actively trying to avoid fights and catch up on XP, a concept that my team doesn't quite have down yet, but you know what? We're hopeful, and we're just dead. Okay, there's no counterplay there at all. We get jumped on, we're gonna die. Let's see. We are level 10 now. We do have Horrify at our disposal, and we are going to be able to use that to drastically disrupt the enemy team's positioning. Also, if we get a good fear on the Illidan, he won't be able to use any of his abilities to get away. And of course, an Illidan that can't use evade, can't use dive, can't use sweeping strike is a dead Illidan. So hopefully we can focus him down. That's going to be one of our big saving graces here if we're going to be able to do that. We should contest right now. We do have everyone up and we know exactly where they're at. Samaro's taking this camp though, so it looks like he will be a moment late, a moment behind. They do have vision of us being here, but let's just go ahead and drop a fear right here. land some corruptions on this Illidan, and look at that. The Divine Palm is going to be forced on him. That silence was incredibly late, by the way. The Divine Palm is going to be used. We force that cooldown, and then Zeratul, unfortunately, does die at the top of the screen, but our Corruption dealing a ton of damage to the Zul'jin, who was standing there trying to trade, as Zul'jin does. Effectively, we just won a team fight in a game that we were losing, so... Never mind, we didn't win shit. Never mind, we didn't win shit. I take everything I just said back. I was going to say, effectively, we won a team fight because we managed to control where the Illidan could and could not go, and it completely messed up their rhythm. But then they just re-engaged after we burned all of our cooldowns. Getting camp while in team fights, yeah, pretty shit idea. Hey, I mean, we should have engaged. They were getting objective. We could have gotten the camp after. There's a priority scheme. You can argue, that, well, you shouldn't have engaged if I was doing this camp because my idea was the right one. But, there's priorities. Priorities, man. You got to deal with shit like this before you take a camp, It's losing health incredibly quickly, making its way into our middle keeps. So we should be able to do... never mind, I'm dead. Not dead. I'm going to go ahead and just throw out some corruptions in here as soon as I get out of this polymorph. Actually, a fear on Tazdingo might be a good idea, but as you can see, I messed up the positioning of that fear quite a bit. It is a pretty hard ability to use. It doesn't have as long of a range as I think most people think. Malfurion continue to chase after the enemy team is going to be taken down. The hunt coming in is going to kill off our Samuro as well. Maybe we can land another corruption or two. We have completed our quest, which means that the corruption will now come back towards us. And again, this is what we wanted to do prior to hitting level 16. Now, unfortunately, the enemy team's level 15, and we're 3 levels behind. But at least the quest is completed. And as they just move in and start to attack all of our buildings, we can just kind of layer this damage in on top of them to try to keep them back. And you can see that we're starting to pull ahead in damage by a pretty decent amount, even though our team has no ability to team fight whatsoever. We're still able to put out a decent amount of damage just because the enemy team has a lot of melee characters that are moving in, so we can apply the same theory to an enemy team that is well composed and has a lot of frontline. I am in favor of just soaking XP, team. I am going to sit in this lane and make sure we get what we need. Never mind. I'm gonna throw some corruptions out and hope for the best. Once again, we don't need camps. We need soak. That's okay though. That's okay. Let's move up top. Let's move up top and get that. We're now 4 levels behind the enemy team as of right now, which is not good. I was getting middle, baby girl. Soaking middle. Valeera can sneak up on us at any point, so let's go ahead and just back up a little bit. I think I am going to go for the health stone here, just in case they do jump on me. I'm not too worried about their spell damage, although I do realize that the Valeera is a ton of spell damage. I'm more worried about just having effective health pools. The fear this time... Feels bad, man. Tazdingo's going to be able to keep him... Actually, he didn't cast it. The Silence from Malfurion did prevent it. To say that was a good fear. It's gonna lead him right into the tower, but of course he was rooted, and that's fine. No big deal. He was trying to crowd control and whatever. Let's go ahead and drain our life off of these guys. We could do it just fine. Beautiful. The enemy team actually not pushing their XP advantage at all. What has the enemy team been doing? They've been getting camps. We can clear out camps, no problem. Camps are not a big deal for our team. Between myself and Samuro, we can delete camps like that. Camps, not a big deal. What we need is XP. And as we've been focusing on XP, we're slowly catching up. It's only a 2-level lead right now. Of course, that kill on the Zul'jin, who thought he was indestructible, definitely helped. But we're doing okay. Doing okay. That's all I'm trying to say. We're turning it around, slowly but surely. Now, if we can stop this plant from getting a lot of value, of course, it's going to be pretty good for us. Let's go ahead and just throw a corruption down here. We did actually bring the Valeera out of stealth there, which is pretty good for us. We also need to be using our Q a little bit more because it does give us cooldown reduction on our corruption, which is not something I've really been utilizing at all. Definitely should be getting more value out of that talent in particular. But let's just try to stay safe here. Of course, Illidan has Hunt, and he can engage on us whenever he wants to. But for now, I think we'll be okay. We'll just go ahead and put all that shit in there. Tried to Fear Bomb away for our Malfurion to live. Looks like that wall did stop him momentarily, but he should be able to get away now. And again, the priority system coming into play. We need to focus this giant plant over other things. So let's just move in here. We'll get that bonus. Well, we would have gotten that bonus damage if we were level 16. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. But that is going to be the first keep of the game down, and Illidan is going to hunt a minion in the top lane to get away. Now, we are almost level 16, which is good. This is like our big window to come back and our big window to fight, and the majority of the enemy team is down in the bottom lane. We know Illidan just used the hunt to get up top, so we do have a pretty sizable numbers advantage here as well, if we are able to use it. Decent corruption on the enemy team there is going to deal some damage over time. Now we are going to get the damage bonus on corruption, which I cannot stress how big of a deal that is. He wasn't able to do much with the Taz Dingo. Now when we send out the corruption, just go ahead and use our health stone. And then when she tries to run, we'll just try to line up this corruption. Only hit one, unfortunately. Now, as these team fights progress, as the enemy team pushes into us, we need to position the ability just a tiny bit differently. I fucked up real bad. I should have drained her there and not a minion. I was just trying to get some quick health, but it definitely would have killed her a little bit earlier. Now, we want to position every single one of these so that we are going to basically wait for the damage to come back to us. I don't think I could live through this without our Malfurion. He did die. Our Samro's focusing the healer. Nope, he wasn't able to take her down. Essentially, with the Illidan re-engage, we were just a little too far forward. The enemy team does have a Merc camp pushing the top lane, and now our window to kind of make a comeback is slowly dwindling as the enemy team almost level 20 with a team comp like this. That's definitely not good for us. But again, I want to stress the damage that we're outputting. I'm not even good at Gul'dan. The damage that we're outputting is comparable with even that of the enemy team, who is obviously stomping us. They're obviously dealing a lot of fucking damage. And it's in a setting that's not even ideal because we don't have a front line to stay behind. So if you could take just this evidence of this build being extremely good in these types of scenarios, granted they do have a lot of melee, which is kind of what you're looking for when you draft Gul'dan. Kind of the same things you're looking for when you drafted Jaina now as well. But if you just take a look at these context clues, I hope you could see the potential of just how well this can continue to scale. In the right hands, in the right team comp. It is just going to be so good. Well, it looks like we're giving up the entire objective to the enemy team. We didn't contest bottom. We didn't want to contest top. We definitely need to do something. They, however, did just hit level 10. And why wouldn't they be right here? What the fuck? When I saw that, I should have backed up. I definitely should have backed up. So that's an objective for them. That's a 2-player lead for them. I don't think we'll be able to take down that Illidan just yet. And I think this might be GG. So we were down the entire match, basically. We didn't adequately soak to catch back up. When we did get picks that were good for us, we stayed a little bit too long in these fights, and it cost us even more XP. And when we did have windows of opportunity to actually contest the enemy team, we decided not to take them, instead just kind of sitting idly by. Now, they definitely could core right now. Not sure why they aren't. There he goes. There he goes. I was going to say, Illidan by himself can kill cores in some situations. Matchmaking is this game in the worst. Decision making. I won't type that, though. That's toxic. We don't want to do that. GG. So, those are basically the reasons why I think we lost. Maybe I could have herded the cats a little bit more, but who knows. That being said, I hope this doesn't take away from just how effective this build is in today's meta. Especially if you can get in the lane really early on and stack up those corruption stacks as fast as humanly possible against a Samro, against a Rexar. You can... Oh my goodness, the amount of damage you can output is just absurd. Just absurd. We have Echoed Corruption at level 1, Health Funnel at level 4. You could change this if you wanted to, but I think this gives Gul'dan pretty much unlimited sustain during the laning phase, and that's really valuable to me personally. His ability to clear lanes is great in general, but you could just kind of take health funnel and keep yourself alive and still effectively clear that lane at the same time. Bound by Shadow, each enemy hit reduces the Fell Flame cooldown. Each Fell Flame hit reduces the cooldown of Corruption by 1 second. I did not use that enough. Should have used that a lot more. Could have had drastically higher damage as a result. Horrify, pretty much the standard. The other one's pretty shit. It's too random. It's not reliable enough. And this is one of the best forms of crowd control if you can place it correctly. We used Healthstone just as a boost of health, although didn't have too many chances to actually use it. Versus most teams, I would get the Spell Shield, but I mean, they were mostly physical damage anyway, other than Valeera. And then we did go for the Ruinous Affliction, which, if you complete your quest, is phenomenal because it allows your corruption stacks to leave your character and then come back towards them, giving you 6 applications of corruption in 1 cast rather than 3, and thus allowing you to be a lot more likely to deal this bonus damage to a target. With basically, if you hit 3 stacks of the corruption, you get bonus damage. A lot easier to do when you have 6 bubbles of corruption rather than 3. At level 20, in this particular case, I probably would have gone for Demonic Circle just to get the hell out of dodge when shit started to go bad. But Haunt is incredible in team fights. It's going to be a massive amount of CC. It's going to displace everyone on the enemy team, make them move around in every direction. And at the same time, it's going to increase the damage that every single person you fear takes by 25%. And again, in today's day and age where the meta is to get in a ball and push into each other, you can't ask for a better ability than that. That is phenomenal. So even though we lost, I hope you guys learned something about Gul'dan today. If you did, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will be back tomorrow. Maybe we'll take a look at Uther. No, why would we do that? This is silly.